Hi, on the DAX rotation. And a warm welcome to one and all. And for those of you not seen me before, my name is Langers, and I am the overgrown child that is the Scruffy Trader. I'm just going to flick on my screens. Bear with me just a tick. There we go. This is the German DAX, and I've been testing an early morning strategy for you guys. And the idea is that you can generate a small amount of money before you go to work each morning. And hopefully that small amount will grow into a nest egg that you can maybe buy a car or even set you on the path of a trading career. Now it's ongoing live testing. I'm a bit late getting the camera on this morning. I was at this very early. The trade opened a little after 7. It's now 8:30. But we had a power cut here and it wiped everything out. So lovely. The joys of living in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, what we are looking at the minute, you can see the DAX is on a royal buy up as it is. Now the idea of the rotation is the waves within the market, hence its name. And that's what you'll see all the time. Doesn't matter what market you look at, any time of day you look at it, it will oscillate, it'll move up and down. It's the nature of the way the markets work. Now, because this is basically a grab and go sort of setup, in other words, you get in, you get your money, you get out. And it's that simple. The overall bias direction is not a major concern. However, the short-term rotations are. And what I'm trying to do is iron this out so that it becomes pretty solid. Now, the original version of this, which is kind of touted around the internet, it doesn't really work. And I'll kind of show you that. Bear with me just a second.
Well, we're waiting.
There we go. Okay, so we'll just switch this on. This kind of strategy, the original kind of strategy, which is what I started testing it, and I knew it was a bit of a, well, basically flicking a coin. That's as much as it was to start with. So that's all you would do. You just get up 7 o'clock in the morning, flick a coin, and that's your trade. No. I always think you need a couple of confirmations and a couple of triggers, basically, to get you to start a trade. Okay. Now, what I'm trying to do is figure out the easiest way to do it. Now, at the moment, I have a number of rules in place. It's got too many, and the idea is they'll start filtering out. Yeah, that one works at this condition, that one works at that condition, this one works with all conditions, sort of thing. And I filter it down. Now, when you're live testing, as case in point, if you look at June, when we started this, we did 9 positions, 1 scratch, and never missed a trade, not one. But that could have been a fluke. And I like to robustly test things. And I guess that's what makes my main strategy consistent, because I've used the same thing for a very, very long period of time. And if you go through my videos, they're all, my core trading is roughly the same. It hasn't changed much in 5 years, not really, because it works. And there's nothing new in trading. And that's one of the things. So don't ever be sucked in by the latest craze. The markets have been around since Adam was a lad. and the principles are exactly the same. It's a buyer and a seller. So the only change is volume, the amount of buyers and sellers. So what are we essentially looking at? Well, if you haven't seen this before, it started with 500 quid, just dumped 500 quid in the broker. And I thought I'd trade it. And the idea is to get it up to about 1,000, maybe it's a couple of thousand quid. Now we're out the gate quite well. We're losing this month, which is why I'm talking about robust testing. You need to see that these things work. And this month is another story. I was kind of started at doing the same principles and getting a royal kick in the teeth. So it's kind of telling me the original just does not work, full stop. It's kind of a loss-making situation. The only way it'll work is if you're expecting a low barrier, in other words, a very low win rate, but you're going to have to increase your risk reward. And to me, that's not trading. That's just gambling and praying to God you have an outcome. And I know it's money management, but no. If you have a plumber come round your house, you want them to fix the problem 8 times out of 10, not 3 times out of 10, because those other 7 times will cause more damage than the 3 repairs will. The principle is the same. If you're not risking exactly the same every time, the results are always going to be different, and I'll guarantee those 7 bad ones will outweigh the 3 good ones. So you need your win rate to be above 50%, and then you need your risks and tolerance in line as well. So it's just my take on it. Anyway, so let's have a little look at this. So we're on the 22nd. The risk factors are quite high. What this is a gauge of how much pain I'm willing to take before I start thinking to myself, this is wrong, I need to get out. Nature of small accounts, your risks are always going to be quite high. So I don't necessarily look at the pip count, I look at the monetary value. Okay, anywhere 60, 80 quid, fair enough, because on the DAX that thing will move 100 pips in a heartbeat. So you have to let it breathe. Okay, and that's it. So scores on the doors, we have a win rate of 66%. We are down because we got a colossal kick in the nuts the other day. But my principle is this. I'm still outperforming the bank, because if I start with 0 and end with 1, I'm okay. And I have more money in my brokerage account than I did when I started. So yes, it's down, but I still made more money than the bank will on that investment of 500 quid. So let me go back to the charts and we shall have a look, see what's going on. It is pushed up, it's coming down. I'm going to watch this down on a 5-minute chart, because you can see that is the 8 o'clock burst, which is kind of why you want to be giving yourself a wide berth. Now, if you're caught in the trade, you have to ride it out. If you're not triggered before 8 o'clock and that's due to kick off, just wait till it settles down. Otherwise, like you'll see, as I am now, I'm in a kind of world of pain. So these were kind of my entry criteria. This section here, it's rattled away from me, but it's coming down, and the idea is to get down to here somewhere, hopefully. So it's a bit naughty, shall we say, but it's another lesson learned, and I'll make a few more notes on it. And as this process is ongoing, we'll keep on going till the account is either made 1,000 or has blown up. But either way, you'll have seen a live test in the process. So I'll let this run out. I need to do my normal day job. Currently running the fivers. Got a few trades running at this moment in time, which is this lot. Today I'm kind of looking at Euro Pound and US CAD. Both they're okay. So positive expectancy there. And I'll finish this as well. So busy day. Okay, I'll see you on the other side. Okay guys, got to go to the office, so I'll do a recap on this when I get home tonight.
You serious?
Okay guys, I'm back home after today. It's been a strange day today. I had a meeting with the accountant. Just touching on that actually. I did a video recently where about tax rates and one thing and another. And this year there's been a bit of a change. Originally it was 7.5% if you're a limited company, tax up to 37,000. That's been pushed up to 50,000 now. So I can get £50,000 worth of dividends out of the company at only 7.5%. So learned something new today. But what else have we learned on the charts? Well, I've had a reasonable day, to be honest. This has just been jigging around for, well, it's just been jigging around all afternoon, really. It didn't go anywhere. It looks bad, but it's not as bad as it looks because the DAX moves horrifically. It can shift backwards and forwards. Overall, though, on sort of normal account, if I pull that across, kind of get an idea of what I've been up to. There we go. 142. Clean sweep across the board. Now, for those who sort of follow the Scruffy Squad and things like that, I do an evening watch for the Rogues, and I told them Euro Pound is going to be the trade today, and there it is. And I also mentioned that even though cable was very stretched, today was going to be a buy day, and hopefully everybody's listened and made some money, because I sure did. But what about this? This is, it's kind of a, it's in a strange situation. I'm sitting looking at a 4-hour chart, and this is one of the things we're trading about. Well, bloody hell, look at that. But what you got to remember is a 5-minute chart is just a micro chart. So when you're looking at it, any move looks exaggerated. But in the grand scheme of things, it's actually very small. It's hardly moving at all. It's like watching a minute candle. A big candle looks huge, but it's actually not that big at all. So what it's done is it rattled away, and it's just choppy chop. And it's still staying in this area. Now, for the rotation, what I was doing this morning, it was a complete disaster. But that's why it's a live test, guys. I need to know this is robust before I can start putting some decent money into it. Is it dead in the water? No, it's not. Not yet. But I may kill this off. Just if I think this is going to continue to the upside, I may kill this off. However, I don't think it's going to the upside. Not just yet, anyway. I'll show you for why. I'll just move this back out. If I go back out to the daily, this has kind of pushed up, but it looks, if you look at it, it's what I would call dirty candles. And what I mean by dirty candles is there's nothing really overpowering the other. It's green, it's red, it's green, it's red. It's not like this, whereas that's that's nice and clean. See, it's all nice and green and going up, but this is dirty candles. So that tells me quite a lot about the market, actually. See, if you look at that on a daily, it means that sentiments are changing quite quickly. You don't really want to be looking at this on a 5-minute chart, but when you're out on the bigger charts, it starts telling you there's a tussle with the bigger boys. Some are buying, some are selling, and they're moving the market one way and then the other way. But nobody's really committing to it, right? So that's indecision. And that's where you get this sort of loose range, if you like. But this is bought up, all right? And it's at the top of this section here. Now that was a flush, and you can see it pushed up, and it tried all-time highs. The market's never been that high, right? There has to be a reprieve somewhere, okay? It came, what? And boy, did it come. Now, that section there, that's the reprieve, but look at the tail. It's pushed up, and then it slammed back down. Now, tomorrow, it's Friday. Traders like to be out of the markets on a Friday. It's a reasonable assumption that might push down through the night and tomorrow. Now, I don't particularly trade on a Friday. I don't like trading on a Friday. I find it a difficult day at best. So what I'm going to be doing is, while I'm tidying things off, because I lost a lot of time this afternoon, I'm going to do a bit of tidying up this afternoon, this evening rather, so I can basically have a day off tomorrow. I want to keep an eye on this up till probably about 8 o'clock. Sort of the markets die down after 8 o'clock. They're pretty dead. So if there's nothing really happening and I can't see any signs, then I'll just kill it off. I'd rather just lose 35 quid than let it run and lose 100 sort of thing. But I'll still be positive. Yes, I'll have lost a chunk, but I still got more than I started with. And that's the thing with trading, guys. That's the thing with trading. So let me just drop down through this and you can see it. So there it is. There's the sell. It's come up and it's found that level and it couldn't break it. See? It's had 2 goes at it. And then it's down. Support there. So it's reasonable to assume it'll come down. And I've just put a target down here. So even if it sort of comes down and pushes, my expectancy is greater. You know, at the minute I'm looking at losing 35, 40 quid. If it pushes into where I want it to go, I'll make 62 quid. So the balances are right. And also what's making me think what's going on is, like I said, there's this section here and it's pushing down. But if you run it across, you can see why it's stumbling here. Because it always stumbles in this zone. There, you can see it. And every time it's gone away, well, slammed through there, slammed through. But when it came back, body bum. So this area is pretty strong, this section, which is probably why it held the price back. Now, I'm hoping that is the case. And, well, hope's maybe is the wrong word. You should never hope. I'm planning on this holding the price back and then let it sell off. And even if it retraces on itself to release this pressure, and this is 4 hours, guys, so it's got a long time to work out. It's here, which marries up here. So it's all about turning points and levels. It's what you want to be looking at. And then if you drop it down onto the hourly, you can see it's gone up. It's all nice and green, but these green candles have slowed right off. And even these ones here, that's pointing down, that's pushing up, but then it was suddenly turned red. Now this could well easily squeeze up to there, but it's the end of the night and that looks like the sellers are coming in. And if it does, through the night, it could easily squeeze down just a tad. So that's the plan, okay? I hope that kind of makes sense. Trading is, just whip that off. Trading is about managing your trade and analysing the chart as much as looking at indicators, entries and exits. In fact, your entry and exit is probably the easiest part of the trade. It's very easy to click the mouse to say get in, and it's very easy to click the mouse to say get out. That is if you can mentally cope with it. Because I had this conversation today when I was talking to the accountant, because he was interested in sort of how things have progressed, because they have progressed quite a lot over these last 2 years. And I was talking about FOMO and all of this sort of thing, because he started doing a little bit and kind of wants to dabble a bit for his pension sort of thing. And he's right, because he was saying when it's there, it's the fear of missing out, but not only the winning, because you snatch at it, but when it's losing, it's the fear of losing what's in a downward situation. And he says he can't bear himself to give the money away. And inevitably what happens when you're in a situation like that is you let it run, you know. So suddenly this £100 loss you're looking in the face becomes a £300 loss because you were fearful of pressing the button, whereas in reality it should be an easy click. Anyway, story for another day. I'll touch on that sometime, because I truly believe trading is not the charts, it's the trader and your mental capacity, whether you can deal with numbers. Now, I'm fortunate in the sense that I've always dealt with big numbers. They don't frighten me at all. But when I do get touchy with it, I just switch it off. And I often do that. If the screen that you see is kind of a recording screen and one thing or another, but my working screen that you see me flicking from back to forwards with, where I'm actually placing the trade and exiting the trades, etc., I don't have P&L on there. I am just looking at the levels of where I potentially want the market to go to. Because if I didn't, it's in your face all the time, it's in your mind. And if you're getting up into big numbers, then yes, the emotions kick over. But the more you do it, the more you dial down and you can cope with it. So that's kind of a little tip today. Enter your trade, look to exit it, whatever you're setting it at, 10 pips, 20 pips, 100 pips, whatever. But switch your P&L off and see how much easier you sleep when you're away from the charts, or even when you're in front of the charts, how much easier it is to read the charts. So there we go. Still work in progress. I'll do a kind of update on this in the morning, let you know whether it was good, bad or indifferent, because I want you to see the whole journey. And if you do want to see the journey, do subscribe, like, share, all of that sort of stuff, because it motivates me to do more of this. Okay, so trade well, keep your risk managed, but above all, do what you love and the money will follow. See you all in the next one.